happened in the country in the last few days, to say the least, is shocking. There are a lot of things about so many aspects of Shakahola that remain unexplained. There are so many questions that have been asked, especially where the authorities were, how they did not know what was happening, and why there have been complaints before regarding the cult leader, but nothing has ever happened. Today we are counting 94 bodies. Now the families of some of the people who went to pray in that hideout say about 300 remain unaccounted for. In the coming days, it could be dire, it could be sad, but everyone is optimistic that things will change in Shakahola. But even as the investigations continue, and of course the autopsy reports, we wait for them, we can't stop the discussion on what happened, because this runs to the core of humanity. Religion is involved, everyone seems to be involved. And this is Christianity. Now God is served in several ways. There are so many names of God. But the question is it a religious institution, or was it something else hiding under religion? We'll find out that tonight, because tonight I host, in their own right, leaders from the religious sector. I have Pastor George Okeyo, who is a pastor at Jesus Fellowship Church. Now, George joins us tonight to talk about this. Presiding Bishop at the Christ is the Answer Ministry, Bishop Callisto Odede, also joins us tonight. Thank you so much for coming. And Reverend Mercy Love Washira, who is a pastor at the Agape Lighthouse, is also here tonight to share her perspective. And finally, Apostle Richard Takim from the Cry of the Spirit Ministry International is also on the table tonight. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming tonight. I see you are not smiling. Why are you not smiling, all of you?
It's a serious subject.
This is a serious subject. But even under serious subject, people need to smile. We have another day.
We do. It's
a sad state of affairs. It's a serious subject, and I understand the veracity of the seriousness of this. So let me begin the question, and because you're next to me, George, I'll begin by asking you, what is your perspective of what has been happening in Shakahola, Kilifi County? From where you sit, what has been happening there?
From where I sit, let me first and foremost start by extending my sympathy, my condolence and prayers to the families that have lost their loved ones. Actually, they did not even find or get the opportunity to bury their loved ones, to eulogize them. This is crime. This is not religion. This is not anything near worship of any deity, because where lives are involved, dying because of what they want to see, they are told you have to starve to die to see God. This is a cult, because cults is a system of belief that is being followed fanatically, or a person is followed without thinking of the consequence. Sometimes they involve very dangerous activities, such as like we have seen in Shakahola. This is not fasting, actually. This is starvation. So from where I sit, it is crime. This is not religion.
It's not religion.
It's not Christianity.
It's not
Actually,
Christianity.
that's not a church. That's a crime scene. And this guy is not a pastor.
Paul Mackenzie.
Paul Mackenzie is not a pastor. From where I said, this is a criminal that ought to have been taken care of by the authorities.
I have resisted the last few days and deliberately from calling Mackenzie Paul a pastor because of obvious reasons. Even the intros we do, I resist to call him a pastor because I don't think anyone who does what he does warrants being given the same name as some of you. So Bishop, from where you sit, your perspective of what has been happening in Kilifi the last few years, 2018, we are in 2023.
This is quite unfortunate, but I must commend you for bringing us on the table. One would have wished we were holding this discussion 2-3 years ago. We probably would have saved some people.
Yeah.
I'm aware in a number of our churches, those of us who are represented here, we do speak about cults and occults and groups like that. But having this in a secular media, which a number of people are listening to, I think goes a long way in just warning and alerting people of the dangers that are out there, even among groups of people who may identify themselves or call themselves Christians. What has happened in Kilifi is actually not a shepherd, but a wolf. A shepherd feeds the sheep, a wolf eats the sheep and fleeces the sheep. And a shepherd is a pastor. A wolf is not a pastor. A wolf is a danger. And what we do have out in Kilifi is actually a symbol of a wolf. It's unfortunate that groups of people were led through mind control and manipulation, through brainwashing, to the extent some of them could not make their own decisions. But we are also aware that it was not only brainwashing, that there were actually groups of people who were watching them and hindering them from getting any food. So it was enforced fasting rather than voluntary fasting.
To what end? At this point, I will ask, to what end would someone purport to do that? I know I need to come to them, but when you say that, the people a pastor, in quotes, would put to watch you to ensure you don't even eat, to what end would a pastor do this?
That's why I personally like to look at it, also bring in the other angle that seems to be coming out and again, the commercial angle.
The commercial angle.
The money, the personal gain. Because it does appear like people were selling their properties and bringing the money to Paul Mackenzie. Now, what that means is that he was actually benefiting. There was something he was benefiting. A second thing that I would see there is the fact that they were destroying documentation so that the people they were burying cannot be traced.
I'm going to come back to you. Let me talk to Reverend. Your